Hey Chris, do you have a minute? I've been meaning to ask you something.
Of course, Alex. What's on your mind?
I've been struggling with my English lately. I can understand most things, and I'm pretty good with grammar, but when it comes to speaking, I feel so slow. I want to speak English faster, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me?
I'd love to help you out. First of all, it's great that you're focusing on this. Speaking fluently and quickly is something many language learners struggle with, so you're not alone. But there are definitely some strategies that can help. What do you think is holding you back the most?
Well, when I try to speak, I get stuck searching for the right words. Sometimes I even know the words, but they just don't come to mind fast enough. And then I get nervous, and it feels like I'm speaking even slower.
Speaking a new language is like building a new muscle. You have to train it over time. The good news is that there are specific exercises and practices that can really speed up the process. Let's break it down. First, let's talk about the vocabulary issue. Do you do any specific practice to build your vocabulary?
I do try to learn new words whenever I can. I use apps like Duolingo and flashcards, but I feel like when I'm in a conversation, the words I need just don't come to me.
But the key is to not just learn the words, but to make them part of your active vocabulary. One trick is to practice using new words and sentences as soon as you learn them. Instead of just memorizing them, try to create your own sentences with them. Or even better, have conversations using those words. The more you use them in context, the easier it'll be to recall them quickly when you're speaking.
That makes sense. I guess I've been focusing too much on memorization and not enough on actually using the words. But how do I make sure I'm using the right words in the right context?
Context is everything. One of the best ways to learn vocabulary in context is by immersing yourself in English as much as possible. Watch movies, listen to podcasts, and read books in English. Pay attention to how native speakers use certain words and phrases. If you're unsure about a word, try to notice how it's used in different contexts. You can also look up example sentences online. But honestly, the best way is to practice with native speakers or fluent friends who can correct you if you make a mistake.
I try to watch English movies and listen to podcasts, but sometimes it's hard to keep up with native speakers. They talk so fast.
I know it can be overwhelming at first, but don't worry about understanding every single word. Focus on getting the general idea. You can even slow down the playback speed of podcasts or videos if you need to. The more you expose yourself to natural spoken English, the more your brain will start to pick up on the rhythm and flow of the language. Over time, this will help you speak more quickly and naturally.
But what about when I'm actually in a conversation? I still get nervous and freeze up sometimes. How can I stay calm and keep the conversation flowing?
Nerves can definitely slow you down. One thing that might help is practicing common phrases and responses so they become second nature. If you have a few go-to phrases ready, you can use them to buy yourself some time while you think of what to say next. Also, try to focus on the message you want to convey rather than getting everything perfect. It's okay to make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become.
I like the idea of having some go-to phrases ready. Do you have any examples?
Sure. For example, if someone asks you a question and you need a moment to think, you could say something like, "That's a good question," or "Let me think about that for a moment." If you're not sure how to respond to something, you could say, "I'm not sure, but I think," or "Can you explain that a bit more?" These phrases give you a little extra time to organize your thoughts without awkward silence.
Those are great. I'll definitely start practicing them, but I still feel like I need to speed up my overall speaking pace. Are there any specific exercises I can do to help with that?
Absolutely. One technique is called shadowing. Have you heard of it?
No, I haven't. What is it?
Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and try to repeat what they're saying as quickly as possible. You can start by listening to short sentences or phrases and repeating them immediately after you hear them. As you get more comfortable, you can try shadowing longer sentences or even entire conversations. It forces your brain to process English more quickly and helps you get used to speaking at a faster pace.
That sounds like it could be really helpful. Is there a specific type of content I should use for shadowing?
It depends on your level and what interests you. You could start with simple content, like children's stories or basic dialogues, and gradually move on to more complex material like news reports or podcasts. It's important to choose something that's challenging but not too difficult. You want to push yourself, but you don't want to get frustrated.
I'll definitely give that a try. How often should I practice shadowing?
Consistency is key. Even just 10 to 15 minutes a day can make a big difference over time. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. And don't forget to vary your practice. Try shadowing different types of content, like conversations, monologues, and even songs. It'll keep things interesting and expose you to different styles of speech.
I never thought about shadowing songs. That could be fun. Are there any other exercises I should be doing?
Another great exercise is to record yourself speaking. You can talk about anything, a topic you're interested in, a summary of something you watched, or even just your thoughts for the day. Then listen to the recording and pay attention to your speed, pronunciation, and fluency. It can be a little uncomfortable at first, but it's a really effective way to identify areas where you can improve.
I've never tried that, but I can see how it would be helpful. I think I'll start doing that every day.
That's a great idea. If you're comfortable with it, you can even share your recordings with a friend or tutor for feedback. Sometimes it's hard to notice your own mistakes, so having another pair of ears can be really valuable.
I'll keep that in mind. I really appreciate all these tips, Chris. I feel like I have a much better idea of what I need to do now.
I'm glad I could help. Remember, speaking a language fluently is a journey, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. The most important thing is to keep practicing and not get discouraged. You're already doing great, and with a bit more practice, I'm sure you'll see a big improvement.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to start incorporating these strategies into my daily routine. I'm really motivated to get better.
Don't forget to have fun with it. Learning a language is so much more enjoyable when you're relaxed and enjoying the process. If you ever feel stuck or need more advice, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here to help.
I will for sure. You've given me a lot to work with, and I'm excited to see how much progress I can make. I guess the key is to be patient and consistent, right?
Exactly. Patience and consistency are everything. It's like planting a seed. You won't see results overnight, but with time and care, it will grow. And remember, every time you practice, you're getting closer to your goal. Even the small steps count.
That's a good analogy. I'll keep that in mind when I'm feeling frustrated. It's easy to get discouraged, but I know that if I stick with it, I'll get there eventually.
Absolutely, don't be too hard on yourself. Language learning is challenging, and it's okay to have off days. The important thing is to keep moving forward. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Each improvement is a step closer to fluency.
I really appreciate your encouragement, Chris. It means a lot. I'm going to take everything you've said to heart and work hard on improving my English.
You've got this, Alex. I'm excited to see how far you'll go. Just remember to stay positive and keep practicing. And like I said, if you ever need more help or just want to chat in English, I'm always here.
Thanks again, Chris. I feel a lot more confident now. I'm going to start practicing today.
That's the attitude. Best of luck with